Hello, dear audience of the channel Fairy on the Mountain. Life, with its myriad paths, is full of choices, and not everyone has the clarity to choose the right path from the beginning. Some seemingly simple truths serve as guiding stars, helping you avoid straying, shortening the journey to success and happiness. In life, every step is accompanied by choices. There are crossroads we think are correct, but only upon reaching the end do we realize they were fraught with mistakes. Some things seem obvious, but only when faced with challenges do we see the harsh truths of reality. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Have you ever asked yourself, what if I had thought differently back then? Would things have turned out better? The answer is often filled with regret. A what if that lingers. But life leaves no room for regret, only for continuation. To move forward, you must understand yourself, the world around you, and the laws governing life. These truths are neither written in books nor openly preached. They are discovered in stumbles, in salty tears, and in fleeting moments of happiness we once held. Each lesson is a small puzzle piece that brings clarity to the bigger picture of your life. Do not rush, for everything requires time to sink in. When you truly open your heart, you will realize that happiness is not a destination, but the way you traverse the winding roads, overcoming challenges to live every moment fully. If you are seeking clarity amidst countless choices, take time to listen and ponder. Understanding life's principles is the way to live wisely and steadfastly amid storms. Spend a little time reflecting, contemplating, and experiencing. Perhaps one of these truths will become the driving force that changes your life forever. 9 principles passed down from ancient wisdom can transform your life. 1. To let things flow like water. Water is a substance without a fixed shape, flowing smoothly with the currents. The ancients believed that behaving harmoniously, like water, allows everything to progress smoothly and as desired. This is encapsulated in the philosophy of non-competition. Non-competition does not equate to lack of ambition. Instead, it reflects respect for the natural order, avoiding disruption of the balance of all things. It teaches not to lose the big picture over trivial gains and not to let the changing tides of life make you lose yourself. Actions should not be rushed. As the saying goes, haste makes waste. Before doing anything, carefully consider, plan, and then execute step by step. This approach is like water flowing slowly, without haste, without rushing, yet steadily reaching its goal. Water flowing slowly will eventually form a powerful stream. Similarly, those who wish to excel must learn humility and cultivate a mindset of non-competition to hope for success one day. 2. Do not dwell too much on human nature and worldly affairs. The nature of people in this world is influenced by countless factors, leading to fluctuations in warmth and coldness. People's attitudes often depend on the status or position of the other person, treating them warmly or indifferently. From ancient times to now, flattery toward those in power has been a common practice. Once you accept this truth, your perspective on human nature and worldly affairs will gradually change. When you are in a lower position and others treat you with indifference or contempt, refrain from blaming or arguing with them. Likewise, when you achieve a higher status and are surrounded by many admirers, do not let it make you arrogant or complacent. Maintain a clear mind and treat others with sincerity. This is where your focus should lie. On the other hand, do not overly concern yourself with whether others' attitudes are genuine. 3. Fewer problems are a blessing. Excessive suspicion is a curse. The greatest happiness in life is having no worries weighing on your heart, while the greatest misfortune is harboring suspicion toward those who are kind to you. The root of gossip often lies in mistrust. Such a negative mindset is detrimental to relationships. Perhaps only when you're so busy that you're drowning in work, so exhausted that you fall asleep the moment your head hits the pillow, with no time to think about other matters, can you truly experience happiness. For it takes 2 years to learn to speak, but a lifetime to learn to stay silent. The ancients said, speaking too much is the first disease in dealing with others. Movement is no match for stillness, and speaking too much is no match for silence. There are times when the more we say, the further the gap between us and others grows, and conflicts deepen. In daily communication, Many people hastily express their opinions, resulting in excessive talking without considering the other party's perspective. Instead of bearing your soul through words, it's better to learn the art of silence. A sharp tongue and eloquent speech might not make someone shine, but a reserved and quiet person, full of unspoken thoughts, exudes a profound aura. 5. Straight trees are felled first, sweet wells are drained early. Straight trees are often cut down first, and wells with sweet water are quickly depleted. Similarly, when you stand above others, jealousy is inevitable. A common human flaw is the inability to tolerate others being better than oneself. Having talent is a good thing, but flaunting it carelessly invites envy and trouble. Arrogance rooted in one's abilities is a sign of shallowness, and using talent to show off only leads to disaster. 6. Excessive greed leads to missed opportunities. Those consumed by greed often lose more than they gain. Excessive ambition blinds reason and integrity, as the ancients observed. People who lust for wealth, power, or beauty often lose their rationality. Once reason is gone, even their lives become precarious. Failing to cherish what you already have, refusing self-discipline, and being unable to control desires are the shortest paths to danger. Remember, someone who lacks self-control lacks the qualification to discuss life's greater meanings. 7. A gentleman understands destiny but does not blindly trust fate. All things in the world follow cycles of time, fortune, and momentum. Time refers to opportunity. Without the right timing, even the best plans may fail. Fortune is the harmony of timing, geography, and human connection. When these align, success follows naturally. Momentum represents potential. Greater potential brings greater energy, akin to the force of a waterfall. When these three elements combine, they form destiny, men. A true gentleman understands destiny. To do so, one must first know oneself, how to establish and navigate life in this world, and then comprehend the will of heaven. Through the ups and downs of life, one gains insight into the natural order and learns to align with the flow of destiny. When one understands destiny, doubts vanish, and life is approached with acceptance. There's no need to guess at fate, for it will unfold as it should. 8. Man has thousands of schemes, but heaven has only one. In each person's heart lies countless calculations, plans for personal gain or for others. However, heaven has but one overarching plan. When people calculate every possibility, they sometimes cannot help but lament. Man proposes, but God disposes. However, what is called God's plan can often be summed up in one word: virtue. Every act of kindness and accumulation of virtue brings fortune. Kind-hearted individuals often accept losses, but heaven does not let them be oppressed for long. While malicious individuals may instill fear in others, heaven does not allow them to wreak havoc indefinitely. If you carry a benevolent heart, the heavens will protect you. Sincere and virtuous individuals will eventually receive blessings. That is why, instead of devising countless schemes, wouldn't it be better to perform good deeds and cultivate virtue? 8. Balance is fortune, extremism is disaster. A calm mind and balanced actions bring fortune. Conversely, those with extreme temperaments and reckless behavior find themselves facing difficulties at every turn. Once, when Zhang Guofan was serving as the governor of Liangjiang, someone recommended several talented individuals to him, including Lu Shihong, a famous scholar known for his polished writing and eloquent style. After meeting Lu, Zhang Guofan sensed an aura of discontent and restlessness in him, fearing that his career would face obstacles. Indeed, shortly afterward, Lu Shihong was appointed as deputy envoy alongside Guo Songtao for a mission to the west. However, they clashed over opinions. With Guo receiving support from the main envoy Li Hongzhang, Lu was removed from his position. His resentment deepened, his behavior became more extreme, and his words more reckless. Even his fellow townsmen gradually distanced themselves. At one point, Lu hosted a banquet inviting friends, but no one attended. Not long after, overwhelmed by bitterness, Lu passed away. 9. Two things in life cannot wait. Life is unpredictable, and its impermanence often catches us off guard. In a fleeting moment, life can separate loved ones forever. Therefore, some things should never be delayed. 1. Filial piety toward parents. In life, almost everything can wait, except showing filial piety to your parents. As the saying goes, an aging mother is like a ripe banana. You never know which day it will fall. The tree may wish to stand still, but the wind will not stop. The child may wish to care for their parents, but they will not wait. Remember when we first learned to walk and talk? Our parents tirelessly cared for us? As we went off to school, they thought of us every moment. Recall the time when tears welled in your mother's eyes, and your father gazed silently into the distance as they saw you off to your new home. Or the joy in their faces as they took turns holding their newborn grandchild. Imagine your parents, their hair silvered with age, waiting quietly for their children to return for a New Year's meal. Every step of your journey is filled with their boundless love and care. How could we let work and the busyness of life pull us away from them? Can we let them wait endlessly for our calls, yearning for our visits? This is why filial piety, repaying the immense love and care of our parents, is an obligation that cannot wait. 2. Maintaining good health. Throughout life, people relentlessly chase after fame, wealth, love, and material possessions, often forgetting that their greatest treasure is health. In youth, they trade health for money only to later use money to trade for health is the root of our being. Without health, even if wealth piles up like mountains, fame resonates far and wide, or love overflows, we cannot truly enjoy and experience that happiness. Health is the foundation of all aspirations and successes. A healthy body brings a clear mind. A clear mind creates strong willpower, and only then can we face all the challenges in life. Unfortunately, people often only recognize the value of health when it begins to fade. In our youth, we spare no effort, working tirelessly day and night, neglecting sleep, skipping meals, and thinking that health is inexhaustible. But youth does not last forever, and time waits for no one. One day, the body starts sending out distress signals. Persistent aches, shortness of breath, a racing heartbeat, and dwindling vitality. People often say that when health is lost, everything else becomes meaningless. Money cannot buy back time. Fame cannot trade for a single peaceful, illness-free day. And even the deepest love cannot replace a healthy heart to continue the journey together. Therefore, instead of waiting until health alarms ring out before regretting, cherish it from this very moment. Love your body as you would love your most cherished loved one. Taking care of your sleep, eating healthily, exercising, and maintaining mental calmness are the most practical ways to protect your health. Because if health is the number one, then wealth, fame, and love are the zeros that follow. Only when the number one stands before these zeros do they have value. Without the number one, everything returns to a complete zero. Remember, preserving health is safeguarding the key to happiness and success. There are two things in life one should not fear: death and birth. Being born as a human, whether of noble stature or destitute poverty, no one escapes the fate of eternal rest. The vast, boundless universe always operates under the law of creation, existence, destruction, and renewal, revolving all things in the realm of life. Humans, too, are merely within that great cycle. Birth, aging, sickness, and death are natural laws that cannot be changed. So what good does it do to fear them? Instead, let us embrace and shift our perspective on life. If everyone must one day leave this world, then instead of regret, let us cherish every moment we live. Do not waste your years on trivial games, fleeting pleasures, or meaningless loneliness. From birth, we fear solitude. As children, we feared being left home alone, always yearning to snuggle in our mother's loving embrace. At that time, just waking up to find no one around would make us cry, longing for a comforting voice or the touch of our parents. As we go to school, we find joy in the company of friends, dreading the feeling of being alone. Growing up, that fear of loneliness urges us to seek a soulmate to build a happy family together. When the children spread their wings and fly away, we fear facing the loneliness of old age, hoping for companionship and the warmth of children and grandchildren. We evade loneliness by immersing ourselves in close relationships, in various groups and communities. Yet, it is curious how those who practice meditation in high mountains or deep forests, surrounded by no one, do not feel lonely. Could it be that they have found an invisible connection between themselves and the vast universe, allowing them to live peacefully and freely? Could it be that when one discovers the true path and meaning of life, the sense of loneliness disappears, leaving only love for life and appreciation for every moment they walk this earth? Some are praised and celebrated by all, while others are born into hardship and poverty. It seems that favorable circumstances help people soar higher and live happier lives. Yet there is a saying, adversity breeds heroes. In times of chaos, when stars fall and the world is in turmoil, great figures often emerge to save and guide others. Just as in the coldest days of winter, the plum blossoms bloom even brighter. In truth, no one can choose their birth. Whether one's origin is good or bad matters less than the cultivation of one's character and fortitude. The more difficult the circumstances, the better the environment to forge those who become legends and heroes remembered in history. Fortune and misfortune. Everyone hopes for good fortune in life, but no one can choose their fate. However, we can choose how to respond to misfortune. Be patient when a grand door closes, for God often opens a window. Heaven never leaves anyone completely stranded. Things often take an unexpected turn at the last moment. So, when faced with misfortune, do not lose hope. When blessed with good fortune, do not become overly complacent. The story of Sai-ong's lost horse still holds its wisdom today. Fortune and misfortune are unpredictable. What seems true or false, right or wrong, cannot always be discerned by the human eye. It is better to remain calm and cautious. Modern life's paradoxes. Dear friends, in these times people live in tall, spacious houses but have smaller families than before. Wealth abounds, but warmth is often lost. Social connections expand, yet hearts are filled with calculation and mistrust. It is hard to distinguish between gold and stone. Trust has become a luxury. People eat quickly but digest slowly. Life is convenient, yet material wealth shackles the soul. Gains are plenty, but what is lost is virtue. The more we discuss these issues, the more heartbreaking they seem. Is this civilization truly civilized? Let us pray for awakening and rebirth, shedding hollow vanities to live authentically. True happiness lies in peace of mind. There's a saying, a mansion of 1,000 rooms, yet at night, you sleep in only 2 meters of space. Fertile fields of 10,000 hectares, but you eat no more than 3 meals a day. From ancient times, countless people have toiled and struggled, and when they finally achieved their goals, they realized that happiness was not there. Ultimately, success or failure is but an illusion. Those who do not know contentment live in perpetual dissatisfaction. Careers fall short of expectations, families are imperfect, homes are inconvenient, children are not exceptional. The power of contentment. In reality, contentment is a state of enlightenment. Those who know contentment smile at life and face challenges with ease. To them, there is no problem that cannot be resolved. As a wise saying goes, do not cry because you have no shoes, for there are those who have no feet to stand on. Thus, even in poverty, a contented person finds joy. But for those who lack contentment, wealth cannot bring happiness. In the same situation, simply changing your perspective and your state of mind can transform your reality. The ancients said, a person who does not know contentment is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant, unable to swallow it yet unwilling to let go. In this human existence, when we have a little, we desire more, and when we have for more than we ever dreamed of, and then more beyond that. But when we lose everything, we suddenly realize, oh, if only I still had just a little would have been enough. There is a saying, knowing contentment brings contentment. When will contentment ever end? Understanding that enough is one of the most crucial keys to unlocking the door to inner peace. Life is not a race but a journey for us to gradually explore the meaning of existence. The most important thing is not the reward awaiting us at the finish line but what we experience along the way. Do you think that some people only realize the meaning of life at their final breath? That is why we must be aware that we are truly living with every breath we take. Otherwise, we are not living but merely existing. Some wake up one day after a long sleep and feel they have grown wiser, realizing they have two hands, one to help themselves and one to help others. What happens when a flower blooms deep in the forest where no one knows it exists? Its fragrance is unnoticed, its beauty unappreciated, and its joy unshared. Does the flower wither, suffer, or become anxious? No, the flower simply blooms, exuding its fragrance to the wind. Whether someone passes by to admire it or not does not concern the flower. It simply offers its fragrance and joy to life and to the vastness of existence. Live like the Buddha, who owned nothing yet could use everything. Savor life rather than trying to possess it. Everyone knows the simple truth that when we come into this world and leave it, we carry nothing but empty hands. So why do we strive so hard to cling to things that were never ours to begin with? Even our own body, the closest thing to us, is not truly ours. The Buddha said, "This body is not yours." If even this body is not ours, how much less the external possessions we so tirelessly chase. The lotus does not separate from the mud. Amidst the mud, it still blooms with a pure and profound fragrance. True understanding leads to a life of serenity. The root of happiness lies in how we perceive people and events around us. Cultivate the following ways of thinking to build a long-lasting, peaceful life. In life, it is inevitable to face criticism and judgment for our flaws. Instead of letting negativity consume us, we can learn to laugh at our own imperfections. This shows confidence in embracing our flaws and helps us grow. It's normal to have differing opinions from others. You don't need to change just because your views are unique. As long as your way of life doesn't harm yourself or others and aligns with your conscience, that's enough. Some people are more favored by life than others. This is not anyone's fault. We must accept the difficult truth that life is inherently unfair. Yet, we can still strive each day toward our goals. Your goals, at least you will have made progress from where you once stood. You should also understand that you will never be able to get everything you want. At each stage of life, you will long for one or a few things. Even when you have what you desire, you will want something else. What's important is that you learn to be content with what you have to reduce the daily stress. Every day, we must make choices about what to do and what not to do. Consider carefully before making a decision to avoid wasting time on things that don't matter. Everything has two sides, so don't be quick to believe stories told from only one perspective. Don't let the glamorous images on social media deceive you. Take time to thoroughly investigate before placing your trust in something. Those who choose deceitful paths may achieve success more quickly, but only those who choose to be good will be able to go the long distance. Be a good person, no matter how unfair life treats you. The reason is simple. Being a good person first helps us sleep well, free from worrying about any bad deeds being uncovered. If you expect others to bring you happiness, rest assured that you will be disappointed and resentful. Love life and the people around you without expecting anything in return, and you will always feel at peace. Live in a way that you have no shame, even when others betray you or when the flowers do not bloom for you. Do not expect the river to flow backward. Live life fully. Joy, sorrow, success, and failure all pass. Those who truly pursue the way, spiritual practice, should not fear difficulties, because it is through adversity that we can refine our character, elevate our consciousness, and grow in wisdom. True practice is living with integrity in daily life. If you approach life with a generous heart, embracing everything and everyone with kindness, you will find that nothing is difficult to understand. You will see all people as good and all situations as opportunities for growth. This is not just theory. It has been proven in practice. Remember, be strict with yourself but generous with others. When you make mistakes, be harsh with yourself and strive to improve. But when others err, don't be too harsh or critical. The same approach applies to relationships. Treat leaders, colleagues, subordinates, and everyone in general with kindness. When you do this, the conflicts between you and others will naturally decrease. With an open heart, we often say that the laws of the universe are unchanging. Many people forget the importance of stillness, and in their haste, they exhaust themselves without considering their origin. We come from a state of stillness, from the void. Why are we so busy from dawn to dusk, only to feel sleepy at night? It is because humans need stillness, our minds need rest. When faced with a complex and difficult problem, the first thing we need to do is to calm our minds, quiet our thoughts, and not think about anything. At that moment, suddenly, solutions will arise. In stillness, a feasible solution will emerge. That is the power of stillness. The world is like a mirror. If our face is frowning, the reflection in the mirror will show a frown. Life is a mirror. Smile at the mirror and it will smile back. Therefore, do not hesitate to send a gentle smile to others. Everyone is a mirror. The lessons of life are constantly reflecting. If the heart is filled with love and understanding, life will blossom with a wonderful fragrance. Sometimes you may feel that life is unfair because you have given so much and received so little in return. But in reality, when you give, you have already received a lot. These are the invisible joys you cannot physically touch. You may wonder why. When others are sad, you are always there to soothe their pain. But when you are down, it seems there is no one to listen or understand your sorrow. In truth, there is no injustice here. What happens is that you may receive back from others either sooner or later, as life's giving and receiving are a cycle. We are all born and exist in this world owing each other. Giving and receiving are forms of reciprocal exchange to settle mutual debts. When you give good things, you will receive inner peace. True giving is giving without expectation of return. If you give while expecting something in return, you will feel frustration, and your mind will not be at ease. When you give, you won't receive the invisible joy from within yourself. Everything we do for each other, whether we love, hate, or forgive, stems from fate. The initial fate is determined by heaven, but to transform it into long-lasting love and care, it is up to us. It is the act of giving that decides how the relationship grows. Remember, depending on how you give, you will receive joy, happiness, or prolonged suffering. Even though you might not always receive what you desire, continue giving. By giving, you have already learned to love yourself. You've aligned yourself with the unceasing flow of life. Every day, we face things we don't like, frustrations, and situations beyond our control. Not everything can be avoided, so it's better to learn to accept these things and gradually find joy in accepting them. Learn to be patient, tolerant, and generous. Strive to see both yourself and others through kinder, gentler eyes. Do not worry too much when facing failure. Let the past stay behind so that you can focus entirely on the present moment. Don't dwell on unhappy memories and bury yourself in them. As the saying goes, a smile is worth 10 doses of medicine. So, why not love yourself more, love life more, and smile more at life and others? When your body and mind are exhausted, it's difficult to smile. But if you force a smile, even a small one, your heart will slowly feel more alive. Have you smiled today? Or is your heart still closed off like a desert? Life's twists and turns can make our hearts narrow. The winding roads of life make the world more complicated. The summer sun turns us into dry sands, but pain only makes the soul more indifferent. Do not expect anyone to be perfect because you, too, have never been flawless. Just keep a flame of compassion in your heart. To live a meaningful life is to know how to love each other. A wise person knows that everyone will make mistakes. If we think we are always right, we will never be able to empathize with others. A person who knows how to live understands that, despite the thousands of differences, we can still look at each other with compassion. In the darkness, everyone has flaws. Remember, each person has their own joys. If we let our hearts be at peace, the distance between us will shorten, and our souls will spread like the sun and the rain across all directions, like the wind blowing everywhere. Living without stubbornness and loving are the most beautiful ways to live in this world. In a society where people are caught up in the rush of work and the pressures of daily life, we encounter many who are bound by fame and wealth, constantly chasing after things, never stopping for a moment. When they get one thing, they want something else. It's clear that human desires can never be satisfied. If we persist in forcing them, we will inevitably create suffering. People seek fame and fortune to be happy and joyful, yet many, in failing to attain their desires, lose the happiness they once had. This is the vicious cycle of life. In fact, not knowing enough is a primitive mentality of humanity, whereas knowing enough is a form of optimism and a way of escaping through logical thinking. The concept of enough versus not enough is a process that varies depending on different eras, circumstances, social classes, ages, and life experiences. For example, when young and poor, the feeling of not having enough might be appropriate because only by feeling this way can their lives change. Or for those who suddenly become rich overnight, if they feel that they are not yet knowledgeable enough, perhaps their lives will have more meaning. Knowing enough makes people calmer, more optimistic, and more transcendent. On the other hand, not knowing enough leads to confusion. Those who know enough can discern what should be done and what should not, and this difference is their limit, their wisdom, a type of level. A person who knows enough always knows their limits, so they are not prone to mistakes or losing their conscience. Because they know enough, they will always face life with a smile, and in their eyes, there is nothing that cannot be solved in this world. They will always seek the most appropriate and best solution for themselves. Knowing enough is a form of generosity. A generous heart can accommodate the entire world. Therefore, in the eyes of someone who knows enough, any excessive competition or demands are unnecessary. This is why the mindset of someone who knows enough is always balanced. They always feel satisfied and wealthy. Tolerance is key. Tolerance towards others, tolerance towards society, and tolerance towards oneself. This is how we create a vast and open space for life. This is why the ancients always taught us that seeing enough brings joy. Knowing enough is also a form of wealth. In the Kin Di Jiao, Buddha teaches that those who know enough will find peace on earth. However, those who do not know enough will never be content, even in heaven. Buddha and his disciples owned only 3 robes and a bowl, yet they were content and at ease. This shows that human suffering arises from excessive desires. Only when we eliminate cravings and cease actions driven by ignorance can we cut off the afflictions and entanglements in life, ending the cycle of rebirth and suffering. This is how true happiness and peace can be found. The Bat Dai Nanjiak Eightfold Path teaches us that excessive desires lead to suffering. All suffering comes from desires. If we desire less and practice vo vi, non-action, our body and mind will be at ease. The true need of a human being is happiness, not the fulfillment of desires. However, many mistakenly believe that happiness comes from satisfying desires. But desires are insatiable, and this creates endless suffering. Life is fragile, temporary, and impermanent. Can be here one moment and gone the next. Who knows when joy can be found? The more desires and cravings one has, the more suffering and pain will dominate their life. By the time we close our eyes for the last time, returning to dust, we realize that everything we've gone through is but a dream. Yet, people spend their time, energy, and sometimes entire lives in pursuit of countless actions. Good and bad, right and wrong. Creating karmic ties for themselves and others, leading to cycles of life that overshadow peace and happiness. We sometimes leave this life before fulfilling all our desires, for life is impermanent, and death, accidents, and sickness come unexpectedly. Those who know enough will know when to advance and when to retreat, when to give and when to take, and will enjoy life without being attached to death. Such people live freely and gracefully, making others envious. In love, one must also know enough. There's a saying, love is a kind of wine, both bitter and sweet. When 2 people drink from it, it is sweet. When 3 people drink, it turns sour. Drinking too much brings toxicity. Every family needs only 1 husband and 1 wife. That's enough for happiness. Searching for more is unnecessary. As for money, we must know enough. Money is powerful, but without it, nothing is possible. The desire for wealth is common, but one must not become a person with endless greed, always chasing after more. Even with hundreds of millions, one may want billions. The pursuit of wealth should not make one a machine for money-making. Once you've earned enough and accumulated a bit, slow down and enjoy life. Do good, give back to society, and focus on simple pleasures like eating 3 meals a day and sleeping 8 hours a night. What more do you need money for? Can money buy happiness? Just like drinking alcohol, one must know when to stop. Drinking too much brings no benefit. The most important thing is the negative impact it has on our health. The best enjoyment is when the wine has just started to take effect, when the flowers bloom halfway. That is the true peak of appreciation. No matter how joyful the moment is, it is important to tell ourselves to stop, to know when enough is enough. Honor is also something that should be sufficient. It is the recognition from society and others for one's achievements and contributions. A person with the right abilities deserves honor. Too much honor, like a large hat on a small head, can burden someone, just as a bird's wings may become too heavy to fly if overloaded. Seeking fame and self-praise only leads to discomfort and an inability to bear the weight of false recognition. The wisest individuals will reject flattery and excessive praise, courageously telling high honors, enough. Life expectancy should also be just enough. People often wish for longevity, hoping to live for many years, but very few actually live to be 100. When nearing the end of life, one can look back on what has been accomplished with gratitude and satisfaction, feeling that life has been worthwhile. The belief that one has lived a meaningful life makes leaving it easier. For people who know when enough is enough, they are often the most resilient. Everyone desires abundance, but few can resist true excess. Too much of anything, money, material goods, relationships, can be overwhelming, and time is limited. Only those who know enough can truly enjoy every second of the day, rather than rushing to escape scarcity or, more difficult yet, to turn away from abundance. Imagine an emergency evacuation. Carrying too much can be a disadvantage, making it harder than carrying nothing at all. Letting go is always harder than taking more, but knowing enough can make you slower than others. Yet if you keep improving each day, there is no reason to compare your life with someone else's. Cherish and be content with what you have, for peace of mind and happiness come from being satisfied with what is already present. Dear friends, you have just finished watching the content 9 Unbreakable Laws of Heaven on the Fairy on the Mountain channel. Knowledge passed down from great sages and philosophers in history. I wish you all good health, peace, happiness, success, and prosperity. Thank you for listening and for your time in watching our video. We hope our sharing brings positive value to your life. Please consider generously liking and subscribing to the Fairy on the Mountain channel to not miss any new videos. We are eager to accompany you on your journey to find true peace and happiness. Goodbye, and we look forward to meeting you in future videos.